Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night, and it's our last stream of the week. Actually, there's no weekend stream this week because it's my oldest son's 12th birthday, and we're going away. So welcome, everyone. This is my first stream as an affiliate, and I'm going to be honest, I'm very excited about it. Before we kick off, I've just got to say thank you to PMD Adaptable for the 5 gifted subs before we've even started our first stream as a Twitch affiliate. So thank you very much to you, Ashwin. You know it was completely unnecessary, but I appreciate it nonetheless, and I will be looking to return the favour. So welcome everyone, I'm Adwin84 and I am a football manager streamer. So the last, I'm just going to type exclamation mark save in the chat there for anyone who joins us. But we are now at Hertha Berlin, so we were planning loosely to stay with Rangers. I say loosely, I was very much adamant I was staying with Rangers because I had unfinished business. But the draw of Hertha proved too much. A £65 million transfer budget, a wage budget of 1.6 million, I think it was. Whatever it was much higher than I was being given at Rangers. And, well, I couldn't turn it down. So we did move to Hertha Berlin. We are we're only in July. And we have quite a rebuild to do. We turned up to a squad that was only 18 men big. And missing some key areas really. So we've got almost the entire new defence to buy. We've certainly got some strengthening to do up front as well, and it wouldn't be any harm to have another midfielder or two. So lots to do. We have also got to think about squad registration rules, so we might not be able to do it all. But we're in for a busy one. So come along, say hello, introduce yourselves, and well, welcome. So we'll get into the save now. So here we are, 10th of July, so plenty of time left. We have a fairly small squad. I have promoted a few youngsters from the B team, from the second team, because we need bodies fairly immediately, but we do have a lot of promising youngsters. Our dev centre is chock full of players who one day could, well, and some of them fairly soon, could be first team options for us. Some of the ones we brought up most in the last stream were Mentor Lugaliu, who is a right winger, left-footed right winger, which is exactly the right foot to be if you're a right winger, with bags of pace, and at 18 years old has lots of potential to grow. We've also got Ralph Dorr, who we're retraining to be a left winger because he's right-footed, and again has great attributes for a 17-year-old. Excellent potential value, so we're going to try to introduce him into the squad this season. I think he is pretty much good enough to have a starting role fairly early on. At the age of 17, we're going to try not to overuse him too much, but he has he's definitely got a good future ahead of him. And then we've got Masit Bozkurt, who is a right back who, again, has potential. At 17, he's not quite as advanced as some of the other 17-year-olds we've seen in the squad, but he, again, has huge potential. We will be looking to give him some game time over the season to try to prepare him. But having said that, he's not ready to be our first choice right back. To that end, we are looking for at least one right back. David Akani is our best central midfielder, our best defensive midfielder, and our best centre back. So he has plenty to do for us so far. I think he's going to be my first choice centre back. We'll see how he gets on through that. Rhys Davis is left-footed in the left back, thus he's probably not going to play at right back often. And Axel Disasi, again, is probably a better option at centre back than at right back, leaving us with Kevin Acurley, who is also left-footed and left back. So it's not likely I want to play any of these at right back. At centre back, we've got Akani, Disasi, and Hinkarpie, who is Probably going to Porto. They met his minimum release clause, and so he's probably on his way out. And Salvatore Cristiano, who is, in my opinion, better suited to being a central midfielder. And then on top of that, we've got Ezra van den Ham, who is a decent option as well. So we have got a couple of players here, 3 players who are likely to be there. I wouldn't mind one more, though. And then at left back, we have Rhys Davies, who is almost certainly going to be our starting left back. Piero Hincapié, who is probably on the move, and Sergio Reguilon, who is 33, and we've accepted a couple of bids for him from Forest and Stoke, so we'll probably see the back of him. So the likelihood is Rhys Davies and Kevin Okerle will be my 2 centre backs. I may look to bring in another one depending on how much money is available to us by the end of the transfer window. But my main priority for the defence is right back. I need at least 1, possibly 2. Defensive midfielder, we have got Stuart Serdar, we've got Ayman Curry and Yangel Herrera, who can all do jobs there, but I think we could do with strengthening there. Hi Georgimus, how are you doing? Glad you could join me for my first affiliate stream, even if it is just for a little while. Okay, we also have work to do in midfield. Cristiano, I think, will play as my box-to-box midfielder. And then again, we've got 3 players who can do a job. And then as the Masala, I think Suat Serdar might be my first choice. But again, that's an area that I think we could do with strengthening. We don't really have a particularly convincing Masala option. Right wing, just anyone and everyone. Left wing, again, options are fairly limited. And up front, we've got Solanke and Wahi, who are very much first choice. Solanke is, well, I mean, Solanke's a backup at best. And we may look to offload him in this window. So plenty for us to do, plenty of areas where we need to improve. On the way in, we potentially have Diogo Jota, who, even at the age of 33, could play a decent role. So we'll see how we get on there, but a number of teams have got in for him. Yeah, I can see you've highlighted your message there, George. That's quite good. All things that we never used to have available. As well as Diogo Jota, we have Mohamed Ali Cho, who PMD Adaptable told me I absolutely must sign because he's done well in one of his draft competitions before. And actually, even without that glowing endorsement, he's one that I would have struggled to say no to. So if he does come in, there's a likelihood he will play as my striker with Wahi out on the left wing as an inside forward. Although I think they are both equally adept at both of those. Actually, no, he's not. He is left-footed, so he might be a right winger. But either way, we have a few options coming in. Got a healthy amount of wage budget available to us as well, so we'll look to use that if we possibly can. And if we do manage to sell Hincapié, we've probably got about £100 million to spend. So there's money in there, and we're going to try to spend it. We've potentially got 3 players leaving. We've got 1 at least leaving for sure, potentially 2 others, and that would leave us with a 19-man squad. So I'm looking to probably bring in another 5 bodies. So we'll see how that goes. We'll get into our shortlist now and have a look and see what is there for us. So Lovro Zvonarek, I'm looking at him as a potential left-wing option. 13 caps for Croatia and 6 goals. Did well for Mainz. I mean, 7 assists and a goal. Mainz, who finished... Where did you finish last season? Mainz, who finished 10th. Yeah, I mean, he's probably a decent option for us. So one we want to take a closer look at. We are scouting Franco Ibarra, who's 29 and currently playing at Boca Juniors. I mean, his transfer value says to me we may well be able to get a very good deal. His contract runs out in 6 months' time. So he could be the man to strengthen our midfield at a fairly decent price. We've also got Kobe Mainu, who I think actually is my favourite for the Mazzala position. He's got all of the physical stats. Not much of a finisher, but he will get up and down and he'll get into the box. Alternatively, he could play the deep lying playmaker role in defence, but he gives us a bit of versatility in the midfield. Rolando Torre, and probably again one of my preferred options for right back. Looks, I mean, the price is pretty much perfect, and looking at other teams who are in for him, we may struggle to get him to join, but he would be an excellent option. Connor Bradley, another one who is relatively cheap, and I think what we do is we go in for Torre, and if he doesn't join us, then Connor Bradley will be the man. So as it stands, I think Torre is the main target for right now. And of course, he had another midfield option here in Jose Manuel Florido, who is fairly cheap, has a little bit of potential to grow, and gives us plenty of flexibility. And the sad thing is his pace or lack of and his natural fitness does let him down when he's quite a good technical player and has decent mentals. So not preferred at the moment. Let's make a bid for Torre. I think we saw some bids for about 14.5. So if we say that, we'll give you another 2.5 if he makes appearances. Right, come on, everyone else has had one of those bids accepted. Be nice. Ashwin, hello man. Thank you. I've already thanked you in the stream for all of those gifted subs, which is way too much, but I really appreciate it. Right, let's see if we can get them to do a deal like this. No, come on, don't be silly. Remember that Spaniard I show you? Should be 27-28 on your save. Go check. Oh, what was his name? I think the subs went to pretty much the last 5 people who followed me. So, Vega. Gabri Vega, is this the one? Yeah. Let's get a scout on him. I mean, from what I see there, I like it. I like it a lot. In fact, he's going on my shortlist already. What sort of value is he? 4.9 million. He's on the transfer list. Okay. Right. Let's see. And it's possible he's not had quite the same career path he's had in your save, but some of those attributes look lovely. You paid 45.5 million. Well, I'm going to let my scouts have a quick look just in case he has taken a different career path. But I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, we're trying to sell you anyway. Although I don't think Nottingham counts as home for you. Let's see what we can get from people here. Your save is at Vigo. So, okay, so he may well be just as good as your guy. Okay. Yeah, we'll accept all of those. If he doesn't go to one of the Spanish teams, though, I'm going to be very upset about his lie to me. Okay. Let's see what we can get there. Yeah, I thought you'd probably be more interested in joining some of these other clubs, but let's see what we can do. Don't do that sort of promise, and yes, I'm already trying to bring in new attackers, so I'm not promising that. Okay, let's see. There's a good I think PSG have had a bid accepted for him, so there's a good chance he won't come to us. But it's worth a go. Right, what's the football we've got going on tonight? Man United, Casemiro. Oh, Casemiro's scored already, has he? Man United, Chelsea, yep. Oh, well, that didn't take long, did it? Chelsea just doing Chelsea things, and Cho's joining. Right, yes, you can go out on loan. Enjoy. There we go. So, we've got Mohamed Ali Cho for £59 million total, 47 million up front, with a big chunk of money if he scores 50 goals for us. So, welcome, Mohamed Ali Cho. And you're going on loan, are you? Yes, I think I want you to go and get some experience. Perfecto. Interesting, he likes to play on the wing. We'll see about that. I think he's going to be my first choice striker. 6 foot. Yeah, he belongs in the middle. Okay, let's get him welcomed in to the squad. I'm itching to see what my scouts make of your Vega guy. If he's got the sort of potential or ability that you've seen in yours, I will be a very happy man. That's £4 million for a man who would be able to do a good job. Oh, let's just do it, shall we? His price has gone up. That might be a deal breaker. 5.8 million. That's just silly. I'll give you 5. Give you 5.5. No. Okay, fine. You can have the 5.75 all in one go. Fine. And he doesn't want much in terms of wages either. Is this one you brought in for Arsenal, Ashwin? Is this guy Arsenal level? Okay. So let's see what happens with Torre and Vega. That could be a couple of positions sewn up. Well, that's a record transfer as well for Cho. You're another one who needs to go and play some proper football. Right, Chimmy, yeah, 2 Bundesliga, so off you go. Burkhardt. Yeah, that's fine. Go and play some football. Don't think my second team is in a league. Let's just have a look. No, they're not. So, probably better to get him some actual football in an actual league. And off he goes. Nothing we could do about stopping him from leaving us. Had a release clause, that's it, job done. Okay. You going on loan? Yeah. Right, Diego Jota has gone to Leicester. Okay, right, fine. Oh no. Let's sort this out. I know someone said his adaptability might go up. That's right. Okay, we'll do the new signing one. Mm. Bring it out. Yes, he's brilliant. Excellent. Okay, so that's one down. That's one man in. 1 minute man in, one man out. Welcome to the new age. We're the new age. Welcome to the new age. Okay, oh, and we've got our recruitment analyst, obviously very important position to fill. When he was a second choice at Celtic, why would I bring him in here? If anything, should we have a look at Colombo? The man who scored just all of the goals for us last season. In the league, 42 from 34. Overall, 61 from 52. It'd be silly of us not to at least have a look. See whether that quality stretches from Scotland to Germany. Okay, who else have we brought in? Oh, that's not one of mine. I didn't do him either. And another recruitment analyst. All the important people coming in now. And another recruitment analyst. Look at that. We filled them up nice and quick and easy. One more left to come in. I think that's the one I just accepted. And we're out for a physio as well. Right, Torre has gone to PSG, and that's not really a surprise. So we are going to go in for Conor Bradley, I think. He's unhappy that Brentford got relegated. He has a lovely relegation release clause. Let's go and see if we can make him ours. Henrik Saar. He looks like a decent centre-back option. But do I need him? 1, 2, 3. I mean, I've got 3 good options already. We've got scouts looking for a defender. We have, haven't we? What have you found for us? He's old and he's short. So, have you just moved? I'm sure you were at Liverpool. You have. Okay. Right. Well, we're not interested in him then. So, we'll just have to wait and see. You another with a release clause, yeah, okay. Let's add you to the shortlist and we'll see how things move over the next few weeks. Okay, that's good, he's interested. We don't promise positions, you play where I tell you. And then we also don't do sell on fees, that's just stupid. Okay, that'll do. Quite happy with that. That'll be a fairly cheap signing, and leaves us with another £50 million to spend. Well, 45 if we get Vega as well. So the question then becomes, where is it most important for us to spend that? So we've got probably Wahi as our first choice left winger. Solanke as, well, when he's there, isn't he? He can cover both those positions. He's not likely to get many games. I think Ralph Dorr is another one that I'm going to add in as well, because he will eventually start to play on that left wing. So we've got plenty of right wing options. Ralph Dorr is going to be a left wing option, which means that he will probably play second fiddle to Elie Wahi. So Cho and Solanke as my T striker options, and I'm not thrilled by that. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens with Colombo. And I think if I can get one more left winger / striker, and then it's down to either another centre back or potentially another central midfielder. We'll have to look at that. So welcome. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. It is nearly the weekend, and if you're in the UK, it is nearly a bank holiday weekend. The third one in May, which is I struggled this week. It's been a 5-day week for me, and it's the first time in goodness knows how long. It feels like it should be the weekend already. And there's sadly for me, there's no late night weekend stream this week. I normally love my Friday and Saturday night, or Friday or Saturday night streams, I should say. But I am away for my eldest son's birthday, so no weekend stream. And Gabri Vega is joining us, very much at Ashwin's insistence. So he is joining the side. So very, very decent option, I think. He's certainly got a part to play. And if he scores goals as a Mazzala, then he'll have my love and adoration as well. Okay, right. So let's say that's the Mazzala role tied up. And we've got the box-to-box roll probably tied up. So it's here, isn't it? It's the defensive midfielder. That deep-lying playmaker is probably the next priority. Left wing, deep-lying playmaker. And then a fourth centre-back. Wouldn't go amiss. Who have we got in the dev centre? I think it is just this guy, Thomas Meyer, who he's big, and you can't teach that, but while he's got good jumping reach, he's probably going to head it in the wrong place. Doesn't have a whole bunch of potential, and he's got no technique really, so I don't think he's a viable option. We'll have a quick look and see who we've got at centre-back there. But yeah, next best option is this guy. And then we're looking a little bit thin. So I think we'll have a look. We'll have a look and see what our scouts bring to us. But what they've brought so far is turd. We'll keep that going for the time being. Likewise the Mazzala. And then on the left wing, who have you got for me? Kevin Zeffi. Cheap option. I like cheap. Would be a decent backup and relatively good price for me. Let's have a look and see what his scout says. Okay, that's relatively reasonable. No, nothing in there that scares me. Okay, not bad as a backup. The 31 million. What's Sergei Pinev? Okay, got attributes in the right places. Not quite as quick as I might like a winger to be. Does enjoy big matches. Strength and fitness levels, low athleticism. So yeah, not something I love. But Kevin Zeffi's got me a little bit excited. Decent flair, he's okay off the ball, his technique's good, he's a dribbler, he's a finisher. And he might score some goals from out there. Okay, let's who are we waiting to come in? Connor Bradley. So we get Connor Bradley in for another 12 million, I think that was. Takes that down to about 45. We've got 45 million pounds. And then we're looking at potentially left winger, someone to help provide a bit more cover than just an 18-year-old. Left wing, I think I decided that I'm just going to go with those two. Right wing, I've got many options. Maybe up front, maybe Colombo, if my scouts compare him quite well to our current crop. And I'm sure he'd want to come and join. Why wouldn't he? Get the band back together. Okay, and Ginter has retired, which isn't a surprise. We can't say no to that because he already has... Oh, come on. Right, I'm going to up his offer just a little bit, I think. Desperate to get him in. So otherwise, we've got to spend more money on a right back, and that changes all of the flexibility we've got in what we do next. Okay, and at least he has gone back to Spain, so he's not lying about being homesick. What's your problem? Oh, be quiet or you'll be next to leave. He was an old man. Look at all the team leaders we've got. That's just silly. Well, hopefully he'll sort himself out soon. It'd be a shame to have to sell him as well, although at 33, I probably wouldn't mind that much. So it looks like it's still 1-0 in the Man United game. Just going to hold off on putting anything in for Zeffy until we know that we've actually got Bradley coming in. That's a lot of money. You're going to Leicester, so we don't care. Old, so we don't want to look at you. You'd be an intriguing option. £38 million for a man who's 30 years old would be decent in both left back and centre back positions. And he's very much a centre back in my eyes. 6'4". Do I want to pay £38 million for a 30-year-old player though? That feels like a lot. No, we're not going to buy him. Oh, Man City are under embargo due to an impending takeover. Well, that's interesting. So this is Man City, who are stupidly rich. Yep, stupidly rich. Who's taking over? It's probably an internal thing, isn't it? Can't imagine anyone's buying Man City off Sheikh Mansour. That just doesn't seem likely. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll have to remember to come back and have a look at who owns them. Although, didn't have a look at his manager. I said I would do earlier. Luis Enrique's managing them, so I wonder what happened to Pep. Pep was sacked. Well, I guess in this universe it could happen. So how's everyone doing? It's having some nice weather in and around London of late. Another warm one today. Plenty of sunshine. Okay, right. They're all moaning because Sergio Reguilon's gone. Too much. He wasn't earning too much. Nothing about registration. Doesn't fit with squad. High enough standard. Okay. He's not one of our best players. He never was one of our best players. Idiots. Oh well, they're being stupid little divas, aren't they? It's probably not my best introduction to a club, but I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So I think we've got a few friendlies before we've got our first Champions League qualifier. It's Champions League. It's not Champions League. It's Europa Conference League. We were in the Champions League with Rangers. We're not now. Yeah, so we've got 5 friendlies in there. And then, yeah, we've got 3 cup games in a row. The league doesn't start until the 18th of August. We've got a fair amount of time to get our squad together. He's a very good player. But we do need to wait and see what happens with our boy Bradley. Until we know what happens with Bradley, we're kind of just holding off on any other transfers. With £12 million for a first choice right back is perfect. Right, okay, so Man City are back in for Fager, and that is because whatever was going to happen has happened, which appears to be nothing. I don't know. Takeovers in Football Manager, aren't they great? I was a bit surprised by them getting all upset about me selling Sergio Reguilón because I didn't think much of him. He was, at best, he was going to be a backup option. Probably should have looked to see that he was a squad leader or team leader, but I'm not that worried. There we go. Conor Bradley has agreed to join us. £12.5 million. I mean, that's lovely. I feel like we've stolen him from Brentford there. But that is perfect. Right, so that means we can go and play around with this money a little bit. Okay. Get you in there, get you in there. Okay, chat. Blah, blah, blah. I can't even discipline him for being so bad. Okay, that's fine. And I've got no problem selling you either, mate. That's something you need to worry about. Although he's actually been quite good for Hertha over the years. Where do you normally play? We had to see that from previous years, am I? Right, so where do we want to spend the rest of our money? I like the idea of Kobe Mainu. Can do a role in defensive midfield, in central midfield. Who's gone in for you? Chelsea. Okay. The scouts are taking their sweet old time getting Franco Ibarra sighted for me. Again, he could be a relatively cheap defensive midfielder. Natural fitness isn't great, but I do wonder. Some of his... Okay, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so what have we got centre-back wise? Still come up with next to nothing. Callum Doyle. English international. 6'3", can play at left back and centre back. I quite like him. That wage is insane though. Alright, let's see if we can... what have we got in the bank? We've got 45 mil. There's no reason why we couldn't. Well, it looks like it's 2-0 Man United, Chelsea. Martial and Chelsea, well, I mean, their season just keeps going, doesn't it? Alright, let's see if we can get away with a cheeky little bid. It's not too bad, actually. Let's bring that down. Yeah, okay, let's bring that down. Okay, that's good. Ooh, okay, that would be a very good signing. That would still leave us with maybe 20 million to spend elsewhere as well. Right, let's give him almost anything he wants. I mean, no, let's not be silly now. We might have to leave that sell-on percentage, and jeebus, that's a signing on fee and a half. Well, this is not the contract you said he would accept. Well, I feel cheated. That's a shame. Okay, right, well, live and learn. So if we have a look at who's out there at centre-back then. Versatile. Let's get a scout on this guy. I don't think I want to pay 40 odd million for him, but as he's on the list, we might be able to knock them down a little bit. Let's have a look at who is highest rated that we've got. It's just Pedrosa, yeah, 5'10". That's not what centre backs do. Centre backs are not that short. What is going on here? There we go. Right. Chris Ostermo. Oh, he made me very happy. Wonder if we try and get him on loan. He was absolutely excellent for us at Rangers. We didn't get to keep hold of him for long though, did we? Don't know if I'm one of his favoured personnel, because I hope that would help get him to come to us. Let's have a look. No. I was wondering if that was the Neil Harris. Right, okay, let's move on. Chrysostomou would be a fantastic little centre-back for us. He was, top quality for us at Rangers for the brief time he was with us. Okay, so he is interested, which is good. If we can get Chrysostomou without actually having to spend proper money on a transfer budget, that then potentially gives us the money to go and get one of these marquee well, not necessarily a marquee signing. That's Cho, but a big signing for centre of midfield or defensive midfield to potentially replace Serdar, because he's annoyed me. that's it. He's annoyed me. And that's it. Once you've done it once, there's not much coming back from that. Okay. Nice easy victory there. Yeah, good point. We don't need a right back focus anymore. Seven goals isn't bad in Serie A. 10 starts, spent most of his time coming off the bench. Still did quite well for Inter. Did well in Lons when he was starting more frequently. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Again, another relatively cheap signing, and then we could look at a midfielder. How many players do we have in our squad now? 21. So we can make a couple more signings. Although, that tells me I've only got one more space. If we had those two in, I still need to leave two spaces, which would only mean I can do one. So I can bring in Zeffy, but then I probably wouldn't be able to work in another player. So maybe we spend all that 40 million in one go. Owen, sorry, welcome. Is that Sheffield Wednesday? Welcome, Owen. Thank you for the follow. Your gear's coming Tuesday, Ashwin. Oh, ho, ho. So that means console streams will be back soon. How you doing, Owen? How's your night going so far? Okay, so... Oh yeah, I said I would do these silly conferences. Alright. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he can do whatever I want. I'm just going to let him play, and so on and so on. All the good ones. Excellent. So when console streams are back, what's first on the list, Ashwin? So Owen, have you come down from from that match against Peterborough yet? That one caused quite a bit of excitement on this stream. I honestly can't say I blame you. That was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen happen. It's definitely something to fall asleep to, that one. I don't think I'd have been able to sleep for like a week after that, though. That's just unbelievable. Yeah, when's your game? Are you the Monday game against Barnsley? But I love that. Both teams coming down from Yorkshire to Wembley. I'm sure there's no better way we could have done that at all. Yeah, you are the Monday game. Right, let's see who we've got in this Conference League qualifier. It's advanced to us. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce those, but I feel like they're games that we should be able to win. I'm a Gillingham fan. I'm a Gillingham season ticket holder, Owen. So yeah, we played you a lot last year, and well, I mean, look how far apart we could potentially be next season. Yeah, very good team. You had a very, very good team. Even last year, I mean, Barry Bannon just ran the whole show, and yeah, I feel like we were a bit unlucky to lose to you guys at our place, but it's just the quality came through in the end, didn't it? But we're in a much better place this season, actually. So despite getting relegated at the end of the 21-22 season and back in December, well, as recently as January, being bottom of League Two, we had a takeover that's it's done us a right turn. That has. We had a January transfer window where we brought in 10, 11 players, and it was just like a different team. Literally, if you look at the League Two table, first 23 games, we were the worst team, 14 points. Second block of 23, we had the second highest number of points, 41. So, yeah, night and day in our two halves of the season. Yeah, it was like 7 goals. It was either 6 or 7. I keep forgetting which, but it was 6 or 7 goals in the first 23 games. It got to the point actually over Christmas where I was starting to think, I don't care if I've got a season ticket. I might stop turning up. I'm glad I didn't, because it all turned nicely in the end. Maya, yeah, I don't think you've ever got the potential for me. So we are going to say goodbye to you. I want decent money for him. Honestly, it came really bloody close. I think it was Boxing Day. So Boxing Day, we're at home to Colchester, and Colchester were down there with us at that point. They were another team that had a good January transfer window and got themselves out of trouble, but they were down with us, maybe 4 or 5 points away from us, and we needed to go at them. We needed to go and get a win, and we just looked utterly toothless. We did nothing worthwhile in that game at all. And I was ready to jack it in there and then. I pretty much had enough by that point. Oh, I don't know if I want to sell you. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to say no outright. It's halfway on wages. Give us a bit. Yeah, that'll do. Whatever. We're not. You're probably playing a part in the first team, so no. Oh, you didn't. didn't fancy the classic open air away end. I mean, personally, I don't know what the complaints are about. I look at it and I see that stand and I think Nou Camp. It's the open air, plenty of bounce in the stadium. All right, it is scaffolding effectively, but it just adds to the theatre of it all. But you brought a big away following for that one, and I honestly, I was watching that thing shake, and I was genuinely scared, genuinely scared. But no, I'm hoping for you guys to get that win on Monday. Incredible. I mean, honestly your away following was incredible. I'm pretty sure it was the biggest away following we'd had of the season. I think you must have had what 3,000, almost outnumbered us at home. Just masses of fans, and yeah, your fans were at it the whole game. Didn't stop the whole game. So yeah, based on that and nothing else, I'm rooting for you on Monday. We don't have too many players at centre back. What nonsense! It's about time you got out of that bloody division anyway. I don't think Sheffield went. I think Sheffield Wednesday are too good for League One, in my opinion. It's a travesty you've been down there as long as you have. Same for Ipswich, and you're probably not as pleased to see them go up as I am. I was, expecting him to go up years ago. Although, if I'm honest, I think their fans seem to have more of a sense of entitlement about it than I've seen from elsewhere. But yeah, they were well overdue going back up. I know, yeah. I mean, there is that. You're there for a reason. You just haven't been able to take that next step. But I think it's getting harder and harder. It's not as it's not as bad as say the National League, where yeah, you've only got two teams going up, and you've got a whole host of teams who probably finished like top 8, top 10, who could easily be top half of League Two. Don't fancy 5 years here like them Blades. No, no, it's a tough place to be, and it's a tough one to get out of. And I didn't realise he had a minimum release fee. Right. And you want to go because you're not happy. Right, okay. Okay, we desperately need a left back now then. Right, so let's get our scouts looking for a left back. Can't imagine he's going to turn down Man City. So let's see if we can get going quickly. That's a nice find straight off the rip. Irish, plays for Arsenal. How much would you want is the real question. Okay, that's probably quite realistic. I don't want to do too much on instalments, but also I need to try and find a bit of balance. Okay, I'm getting closer to a deal. Yeah, right. So Dare I ask what your first away game would be, or which one you'd be looking forward to most if you get back up to the Championship on Monday? Oh, that would be incredible. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? I genuinely think though, if Everton go down, they could be one of those clubs who just starts to absolutely tumble. You look at Everton, the last 5-10 years. I mean, they've got a new stadium coming, haven't they? They've spent like they're a Premier League club, like they're an established Premier League club. I don't know how quickly they'll be able to cut the costs. Yeah, absolutely. Sunderland, Portsmouth. I mean Leeds as well. They've all done it, haven't they? They overspent when they were in the Premier League and weren't ready for that tumble back down, and they just had to. It was like a fire sale. Just had to get rid of everything. And Sunderland, that was something else though. Going up last season and then getting as far as they did this season. Who on earth is Kem Sinar? I'm just rejecting that. We're not selling youngsters. Not until they're worth lots and lots of money. Okay, so you could do a job, couldn't you? Got your vision's not great, so I don't know how good a playmaker you would be back there. We might have to wiggle things around a little bit. I can add you to the. You're already on the shortlist, aren't you? Okay, well, hold off for now. Do wonder if I need to sell Serdar if he can't turn his grumpiness around. And the draw for the Pokal. Koblenz, never heard of them, but I'll look forward to playing them. Is this one of those cup competitions where the big club plays away? I don't know. You get some. I think France is one of those countries with that sort of rule, isn't it? If you're two divisions above your opponents get to play at home or something like that. Or don't you go getting yourself hurt now? Do without that, buddy. Alright, so we've got a few midfielders there. Just need. I don't know. I'm trying to restrain myself from just buying players for the sake of it, but I need someone who can play a deep lying playmaker role. It could be Kari, and he's got a bit of potential even at 25, so he could get a bit better yet. Maybe it's him. Serdar, I do think is probably better, a little bit more advanced, but I mean everything. His training's terrible. He's being an absolute what's it. I am wondering whether it's time just to cash in on him. Potentially going to have another 30 odd million come in, although we probably sent that straight back out on the Arsenal left back. So 40 million. Do we use that and get ourselves a top quality defensive midfielder? Someone who can do that deep line playmaker role at a high level? Or do we look at another left winger? But then I've probably got enough players, it's just the quality of them. But then it could just be Dor's chance to get into the first team. And he's got so much potential. He's already a Bundesliga standard player at the age of 17. I think I've got to get him game time. So yeah, I'm kind of debating that one myself at the moment, Ashwin. I think I need to spend on a defensive midfielder. That's where I think I need. I've got about £45 million. I need someone in defensive midfield. I think this is my weakest area. Serdar may have been a choice there, but he's just winding me up now, so I'm likely to just sell him. I think with Vega and Cristiano, I've got my midfield set. And I'm quite happy on the wings. I mean, I could potentially do with another backup striker, but I've got a couple of youngsters who, as well as Solanke, who can do a job. He can play a bit of time there. But I'm looking at defensive midfield. And on my shortlist at the moment, I do have this guy here, Kobe Mainu. Got relegated with Brentford last season. So he's probably looking to leave. Good ability, very decent for our level. Could do that deep line playmaker role quite well, I think. He's currently my favourite. I think I can get him in. Though we will just have a quick look at the player search, just to see if there's someone outstanding there. Oh, hello. Well, this is why we look. Why would I not go for this guy? Minimum fee release clause. Let's just buy him. That would be insane not to. My goodness. Here's me looking at some Brentford reject, and this guy's sitting here all that time. Let's get him in. This is why you don't sleep on player search. Yeah, we'll call you a star player. Why not? If you're anywhere near as good as you look. Okay, let's see if we can meet in the middle there, shall we? Perfect. I'm happy with that. Come join my club. So, a lot less than 45 million. We've got about 15 million left now, which might be enough to get Zeki in if we sell Serdar. Yeah, I may have just spent that money I said I had. Lucas Ambros, okay. We'll have a look at that one. Are these ones you've had in your Arsenal save, or are these players you've had in like your drafts? Lucas Ambros. Let's have a look at Ambros. He may well be either not in or retired. So we'll have a look elsewhere. Sukic. Okay, he's got some ability. Fairly cheap as well. Campos. Okay, I'll have a look at that instead, Lukasz. Campos. These are all of your Croatian players, because I never loaded the Croatian League. I wonder if I'm missing some of them. Yeah, it doesn't look like I've got him around. Okay, well, I reckon we've got a decent player coming in. Are you? No, you're not. You're not going to be terrible, but I'm not unhappy about selling you, but not for that much. Okay, you don't want to come. Was it Wolfsburg? Okay. Well, let's have a look at Wolfsburg, shall we, and see if we can find him somewhere in the history. The thing is, I don't think I had Germany. Didn't have Germany loaded at the start of the game because I started with like Sweden, Norway, I had Scandinavia, but not Germany, because that whole point was to start very, very low. It doesn't look like. Got some of their real players there, but it doesn't look like he was one of them. Check it's not still there, actually. No, definitely not. Never mind, never mind. There's a good chance I wouldn't have enough money for him anyway. Okay, and we've sold Thomas Meyer, who's our big 6'6" centre back, but he's just not going to fit him. He was never really going to develop far enough for us. Which is no slight on the man, but we're trying to play at a higher level here. Right, we're going to ads in a second, so I'm going to stick on the Be Right Back, and I'll join you here in just a couple of minutes. And we're back. So thanks for sticking around, everyone. And if you did sit and watch the ads, thank you for doing that as well, because I don't know, they give me a couple of pennies for that, I think. This is my first stream as an affiliate, so kind of excited to see how many pennies I do get from something like that. Probably less than I give my kids for pocket money, but every little helps, doesn't it? I think one of the aims now that I'm an affiliate is probably to get a microphone rather than using the headset microphone. I might get a little standalone thing in the hope that it continues to improve the sound. I don't know if anyone who's watching at the moment was here for some of the earlier streams when I was using my PS5 headset, but we've come a long way. We have come a long way. And Ashwin, no worries, man. Hope you win. Probably see you in about an hour, I guess. They take some time, those games, don't they? Right. So Georgie Kearhane is, or if anyone is Irish, tell me how to pronounce that surname. Kearhane doesn't sound right. But we haven't actually sold Rhys Davies, so that could be a smidge premature. But actually, I mean, just look at his ability and his potential. He's a good signing regardless. Let's get him in. Okay, so that's a chunk of money spent on that guy. And there you go, look at that. Gone straight away. And he's already a leading Bundesliga player, so I'm quite happy with that. And now Serdar's being quiet because he's now happy because we brought in a left back, even though we've sold Davis, who was the better of the two left backs I had. The man makes no sense, but there you go. Rhys Davies is back to England with Man City. Okay. I don't know what they want me to say. He had a release clause. I could do absolutely nothing about it. Right, so that still leaves us with 40 million pounds to spend. If we've got this young lad coming in who can also do a job at centre back, but is likely to be my first choice defensive midfielder, that gives us about 10. It's 29 million, so it gives us 13.5 million pounds to spend, depending on what his signing on fee is. Probably about the end of our transfer window shenanigans. 23 players in the squad, I think. We'll be able to register them all. That's one more into the squad, and then we've got hold on, let's register you, and you. So I need to leave 2 spaces. So actually, I won't be able to register him, so I'll probably have to offload someone. That's a problem. And I could look to offload Solanke. He's on the list. Let's see if anyone will give me 2 million for him. I'm not even asking for a lot there. And then that means probably get one of these lads up as replacement. Let's get Schaefer. Which means he's involved in a transfer. Do you know what? We are going to reject that offer so we can get him up to our squad, because he now has a part to play in the first team. You're lurking, that's good to know, mate. You're a comforting presence. Let's have a look. How are Chelsea getting on? Oh, still 2-0. And it's kind of sad that if you're a Chelsea fan, you have to be looking at that 2-0 and thinking, at least we're not getting beaten 4-0. Rough times. Okay, so we've got Petrolor Ploesti in the League Path third qualifying round for the Conference League. Now, I feel like I'm being just a little bit cocky, but I reckon we should win that. We're not far away from our first competitive game as Hertha Berlin manager, so it's getting exciting now. Right. Everybody wants him, can't afford his wages. What's he on? Right, if we offer them... I mean, it's a token amount because I don't really want to pay too much of his wages, but if we offer a bit, they might just jump at him. Okay, yeah, really good, happy, good, brilliant, cool. So I have given over all of my main press conferences to my assistant manager, but someone told me, I think it was on stream, that you might have a very small chance for a boost to their adaptability when they move from country to country if you do the new signing press conferences. So I'm going to carry on doing those in a hope that we can actually improve them in some small way. And Keeley is joining us, and what a signing that's going to be. Very excited to have that man on board. Okay, so Bundesliga numbers. That was a weird way to say that, Adam. Shirt numbers. Right, you're away, so you don't get a number, you don't get a number, you don't need one, and neither do you. You're also away. Anyone else not in the first team? You, Hildebrand. I know you are one of mine. No, goodbye. You are going on loan elsewhere. Right, I think... No, you're another one. And you? My goodness, there's so many players who have squad numbers and aren't actually in the squad. Okay, let's give you number 7 because that's what you want. You're the only one who requests a certain number, so you're allowed it. As for the rest of you, who's my first choice right back? You are. And yes, I am quite particular about trying to have my 1 to 11 have the right 1 to 11. But at the same time, I won't really change numbers if they've already been assigned. 13 is sub-goalkeeper, always has been. Anything else is just wrong. You get 18. You can have 17. No, you're 20. Yeah, you can have 20. Why not? You can have 22. You can have 21. And that leaves you number 16. Perfect. There was absolutely no rhyme nor reason to how I doled those numbers out, but I just know I won't leave it to the computer to do it for me. Okay. And we've got our man. So what we will do then, when it comes to selections, right, now hold on, I can pick all of them. No, I can't. Right, so we auto-select, and let's take Solanke out. Is that what I can do? Yeah. And then I've got 5 youth players, so I have got 24 players available to me. It says only 19, but I've got a lot of under 21s who, it's fair, they're going to play a small part in it. That just means Solanke will be for league games only. Okay, at least he accepts he needs to pull his socks up, but that's 2 or 3 in a row where he's been under 6 for training, so I don't think he starts in our next game. I don't like to reward players for poor training performances, even if they are generally considered first choice. Okay, right. We'll auto-select and we drop Solanke, that's it. Now, interestingly, are you going to let me... It's interesting, it's auto-selecting that, but it's got the confirm selection. No, okay, I didn't think it would let me. There we go. Alright, there's the final squad. I mean, it could still change over the coming month. We've still got quite a lot of time before the transfer window ends, so we may still have changes to make between now and then. But we've got a big enough squad, I think. Even though I've only got 19 players I have to register, there are still 5 players there who can play, they're eligible to play, and they're good enough. Record high for spending. Lovely, lovely. Okay, right. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to get rid of Solanke, so he's just going to have to mill about the first team squad for a while. Where did the blue sky go? Oh. I dread to think how old this song is. 25 years? Give or take? If anyone knows, pop it in the chat and let me know. Make me feel old. I remember listening to this song as a teenager. Okay, so Conference League action finally coming up before we go away to TUS Koblenz. So, not the biggest games to start off our Hertha career. Someone ever fallen in love, in love with someone ever fallen in love with someone you shouldn't have fallen in love with. Okay, right. So fourth qualifying round draw is already being made. Lazio are in there, so at least one big team. I think we're on the opposite side of the draw to them, aren't we? So wouldn't it just be our luck to end up with them? Shall we see? Okay. Ashdod, Slavia Prague game. I feel like, with no disrespect to those two teams, feel like we should be able to get through that. £56 million is quite a lot of money. Is that a release clause? It is. Although we're not in the Champions League, so it wouldn't count for us. You're very good. We're not going to be able to get you. Okay, we'll just move on. We won't even think about it. I mean, we could try to structure a deal with something like £10 million up front and then £50 million over instalments, then maybe another, I don't know, 40 odd million over various other clauses, but it's just not worth it. I'd like to think we're going to stick around at Hertha for a while, because this is the sort of team where we can probably meet some of our ambitions. And the expectation is that I think season preview had us 4th. Yep, so Champions League football, I believe that is, in Germany. Yep, straight into the group stage as well. So if we manage to hit 4th, we're into the Champions League. That's money, that's more chance to keep moving up. And we're doing okay for money. I think Hertha have been a selling team for the last couple of years. I mean, maybe not. Actually been relatively even in some seasons, outspending. Nothing quite as much as when I join. But, well, we want to take them to the next level. We're not happy just being a selling team. We want to turn this lot into title contenders. We want to break the Bayern Munich stranglehold on the league, which I assume is still a thing. Yeah. They've won quite a lot. 18. The last 18. We want to interrupt that. Probably won't be this season, but in a couple of seasons, we should be in a position where we can at least challenge them. So we do go for an eclectic mix of music here. If you do have a request, feel free to ask for something. I'll probably be able to find it somewhere. Okay. Come on, we're very close to a match. It's felt like a long time since I played a match. The last stream was... Yeah, last stream I think was when we moved, so that was after the end of the season with Rangers. And so we would have spent most of that trying to set up the club, look for the staff, etc. So yeah, this is first match we played in about 4 hours, 4.5, 5 hours actually of Football Manager. So it'd be nice to nice to actually play one. So we've had Sukic scouted. He's decent. I'm not sure he's as good as what we've already got though. Okay, let's just confirm the same squad. Who is it that wants Solanke but is refusing to make an offer? FC Twitter alone. Well, we might have to accept a loan. We might just have to accept that we're not going to sell him and just put him out on loan. So at least we can recover some of his wages and maybe even a little bit of money in a fee. Alternatively, if he just hangs around as a backup striker, who is going to be better than the kids we've got in this squad, then yeah, that's fine. You know, he'll do a job in the league. Oh dear me! I've just seen the Man United score. So when I said earlier it must feel nice not to be 4-0 down, I apologise. If you're a Chelsea fan and you heard me say that, then I'm very sorry. That's not good times. Okay, do you have a preferred side to play on? I didn't check this out at all. No, that's good. And Chrysostom, I think, is my other centre-back. And I don't think you have a preferred side either, but you're like right-footed. Okay, that's good. Right, that's my new back four. None of them exactly brilliant in those roles, but they'll all have to adapt. This is the way we play now. And Keeley can definitely come in for his first start. We need to get him some match time anyway. Cristiano, we've got a preference for. Right, you can be box to box, and we'll see how you get on with that. Good tackler, good passer. Yeah, he should do quite well in that role. And then we've got Vega, who is going to play as an attacking Mazzala. And I think he should be able to score some goals for us. Okay, Burkholt, obviously. Now, right winger. Let's go Wahi out on the left to start with. I'm going to go for Cho as our striker. And then, well, I can have 12 subs. So pretty much everyone who is not injured goes on the bench. Oh, except for Solanke. Okay, we'll put Akeley on the bench. 2 to 5 weeks. Okay, we won't put him on the bench. We'll just go with 11. I don't think I'd even want to bring him in the most desperate of situations. That would just end up injuring him worse. Okay, and number 24 is in Keeley's number. Let's go and play our first game as Hertha manager. So Chrysostom, man we had on loan from Man United at Rangers, has come to join us here. I think when we had him at Rangers, he ended up spending 2 or 3 months out injured, which was a shame because he had a cracking start to his loan spell with us. And he ended up missing the last part of the season. But quite nice to be reunited with him. We might struggle a little bit with the bond between players here because we've a fair old amount of turnover. I think we've sold 3 or 4 players since we've joined and signed 5 or 6, maybe even more. So yeah, a bit of playing staff turnover, but they're good players, so hopefully they'll come together fairly quickly. Cristiano out wide for Bradley now. Good ball across for Wahi, and that is goal number 1 of the season for Wahi. I think he was last season's first choice striker, so no stranger to scoring goals for Hertha. But that's 1-0. And it's always good to get a lead in the away leg. Cristiano now outside the Petrolol box. Bradley out on the right wing. Good ball in for Wahi again, and that's 2. Not quite a carbon copy, but the same crosser, the same header. 2-0. And, well, I mean, the Bradley's 12.5 million is starting to look like a very good investment indeed. He's created 2 goals from out on the right side of the pitch, and I think we got him from Brentford for 12.5 million. Is it's just great, absolutely lovely business. Kierhan has taken Kian. Is it Kian? Georgie has taken a knock, so we're going to get him off, and my left back is not fit, is he? He's the one who's had the cruciate injury. Okay, we're going to bring on Ezra Van Den Ham as something for an emergency left back here. Let's hope. Well, I think given the quality of the opposition, we're probably not going to have to worry too much about what that might do in this game. But it's still just a little bit worrying. Alright, 2-0 at half time. That's a good start. And good news for Chelsea fans, it's now 4-1. If you're a Chelsea fan, what are you thinking right now? I'm thinking particularly about the idea or the act of bringing Frank Lampard back to the club. Is anyone happy about that at Chelsea? And I saw in the text commentary that there were chants of Super Frank Lampard going round from the away fans. But are you actually happy that Frank Lampard's back? Could you be happy? And I find it quite hard to believe, given his fairly dire first spell, his absolutely atrocious time with Everton. And, well, I mean, look at how it's gone this time around at Chelsea. Can't be happy with that, surely. Okay, let's make a couple of changes. We'll get Cristiano off because he looks a little bit on the tired side, and we're going to give Serdar a run out. He's 33, so I don't know if he's going to do the box-to-box bit very well, so we're just going to play him as a central midfielder. And Cho, we're going to get young Schaefer on. He's only 17, I think, so I'm not expecting wonders from him, but I do want to get him some game time. As much as possible, I want to get all of these youngsters some game time. We've got a very, very good second team. We've got lots of youngsters coming through with huge amounts of potential, and I'm keen to turn at least some of them into first teamers in the next few years. Keeping the ball quite well, and that's a lovely ball forward. Wahi, he's clattered off the bar. That was his chance for a hat-trick, although he was offside anyway. Okay, and then we are going to get Ralph Dorr on the left. Now let's get him on the right. We'll swap them. I'm going to get him some game time as the left wing inside forward, because he is right-footed, and I'm retraining him to be a left winger, so he can be my second option there. And what's a Ramdeuter? Yeah, let's have Wahi as a Ramdeuter. That sounds quite fun. It's a German word, so it must work quite well in Germany. And Kari can come on, because I'd like to see what he can do in defensive midfield. another player who's got potential to grow. He is 25, so he has got the potential to get a bit better. So let's see what we can get out of him. It's Door now with a bit of a heavy crossover to the right wing, but Wahi does collect. And Petrolol escape. And they're keeping the ball quite well here. But Vendenham, playing as a makeshift left-back, does the job. And now Door as my makeshift left wing. I haven't really thought that through. Serdar in for Wahi. Is this the hat-trick? It is. And he looked well and truly onside there. And that is wrong. He was offside. Well, I guess I won't be signing up to be a linesman after all. Vandenham doing his best impression of a left back there, but just decided to spin around in circles. And Door has won a penalty here. Seemed like a very unnecessary challenge here from Balanica. And while he does get the hat trick, he's had a few attempts now, a few bites of that cherry, and he's finally got the hat trick. And it's 3-0 in the away leg. And well, I'm about ready to say we are through to the fourth qualifying round. We are going to have to do something particularly stupid at home to throw it away from here. Good pressure from Serdar. Bradley forward for Wahi. Back for Serdar. Bradley, lovely ball through. And Door had a chance, but I think Wahi was offside again. Yep. There we have it. Comfortable 3-0 win. We move on to the German Cup next. And he did a great job out on that left wing, actually. I did wonder whether I should potentially make him a striker, but looking at the balance of the squad, I don't have many players who like to play out on the left. We do have Serdar, who is just getting a little bit too old now, I think. So his game time is probably going to be quite limited, but he's just too good to not play somewhere. Does quite well as the inside forward. Have I got him as an inside forward? I have, yeah. And the 3 goals he got from out wide, proving to me that I've done the right thing. Okay, we're gonna run an ad break now, so we don't interrupt the next game. Do stick around, because after that we have got German Cup action coming up. And for my subscribers who are still here, mostly people who have been gifted a sub by Ashwin, hi. This is just for you. Exciting stuff to watch me sit here and praise players for training well. But actually, this song might be over by the time everyone else comes back. I think that's the way it works. And the pins and I needles. When I lie and I'm easy, all of the time I never show why I need you. Yes, I need you. I've not heard any of the recent Blur songs that have been released. I did used to like Blur back when I was younger. No, we're not loaning him out. He is my second choice right back. Is Boskurt. We are running a bit of a risk here. We have a strong first team, and the second team, well, we've got some players who can play, but we've also got some kids. Now, in tough situations, I'm probably not going to put the kids in, so I do have another option at right back in Axel Disasi. We've also got David Akani who can play out there as well, so we've got a couple of options. But at left back, it is just Akerley. There's really not much else. Ezra van den Ham, I don't know whether I should train him out as a left back. He's right-footed, but maybe, just maybe, I do give him a little bit of let's train him a little bit. I think let's just give ourselves options, because while I'm sure Akerley will do a great job, he is only 18, and that means he has the potential to perhaps get overwhelmed, shall we say. While we're just processing, I'm trying to see whether I can add an add timer warning on my OBS. Can't see it, unfortunately. It's a shame, because it would be quite good to do that rather than having to switch back and forth between Twitch and OBS, but there you go. It is what it is. Okay, TUS Koblenz is our next game up on. I know today is Sunday. Today is the Sunday, so I'd like to think we should be in with a pretty decent chance of winning this. Just will check what my board want me to be able to do in this cup. I think I will probably still mostly play the kids, just to give them a run out, get them again, just game time in the legs, get them a bit of adult football underneath their belts, so that they do develop a bit. Right, Pokal, latter stages. So that's what, quarter final. Yeah, okay. Right, well, we've got to take it seriously, which is fine. No problem doing that at all. We are going to put Mads Christensen in though. Let's clear the squad, and we'll go with Mads Christensen as our goalkeeper. We will put Boskurt on for this one, but we'll have Bradley on the bench just so he can come off at some point, because he is going to struggle at some point. He is still young. We're going to try out Van den Ham and Disasi as our centre-back combination this time. And yeah, George is going to have to play, although he is... Now this is the problem. This is the problem with what we've decided to do here. Akerley probably will be a fairly decent left-back, but he's injured. And when George is injured, I'm in trouble. So, what we'll do is, we're going to give Georgie the first half. And then we'll give Georgie the first half, and then we will probably throw Van den Ham back out there again. Kari can start because I want to see how he does. We're going to go with Serdar this time around, and we are going to make him a central midfielder. And Vega can have another chance to impress, because he wasn't brilliant. Hildebrand, Ralph Dorr, and Cho needs to go and score some goals. Let's see if this is the game for him to do exactly that. So Bradley, Akani, and we'll go for Nkili, Cristiano, Burkholt, Galio. Let's give Solanke a game on the bench, and Wahi, after his hat-trick heroics from the last game, can sit on the bench and enjoy a nice rest against this club, who aren't even in the professional football leagues in Germany. So let's go. I say they're not. I don't actually know if that's true. It's just they're not in this game at the moment. Okay. Cup time. Hopefully this should be a regulation win. We have made some big changes from the last game, and it's certainly a second string team that we've put out there. Oh, he should be strong enough. That's a lovely header forward for Cho. And is that a penalty? Yep. Get one in nice and early. Can he get his first goal for us? He can indeed. So second game for Cho. First goal, he's off the mark, and well, let's hope this is where we see him really start to take off. I was quite spoilt in my last season with Rangers, with Lorenzo Colombo scoring 62 goals, wasn't it, in all competitions. So probably not going to get that many goals out of any striker I've got at the club, but it would be nice to have someone who is a 30 goal a season man. Well, we've hit the post there, and a bit of a goalmouth scramble, and well, nothing else came from that. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm Adwin84. We are 8 seasons now into an unemployed start save. We started in Sweden, we went via Scotland and Dundee United and Rangers, and this season we have joined Hertha Berlin. We haven't yet won a top flight title though, so that's definitely on our list. We had our best chance so far in the save with Rangers, but sadly lost out to Celtic in the last few games of the season. We won 96 points and still didn't win the league. It was painful. It genuinely was. But we've had a good start to our Hertha Berlin career. Okay, we've had 2 of the easier games we could have had in the Conference League and in the Cup, but winning starts are winning starts, and this is the way I want this club to go. Okay, 2-0 at half-time. Not bad considering half of them are kids. Now, we are going to bring Georgie off because I don't want to risk hurting him. So we're going to get a Carney on, and Van den Ham can come back on. So I can move back over to the left-hand side as he finished off the last one. So it is a bit makeshift, but I don't think we could be up against a better opponent for that kind of change. Carney now. Disassi. And Koblenz are very happy to stand off us for the most part here, but Cho's broken through. I mean, he just outpaced everyone there, and that's an easy finish for 3-0. Hildebrand across for Cho, and that's just over the bar. Can Cho make it a hat-trick in just his second game with us? That would Oh, and that would be lovely. Wahi a hat-trick in the first game. If Cho can get himself a hat-trick in the second game, then I'd feel very happy about our striking options. And yes, I know these are two weaker teams, but you've still got to do the job, whoever you're playing against. Van den Ham still trying to do his best impression of a left back, and I don't know what that challenge was. But he gets the ball across, and Hildebrand has scored his second goal of the game. I was about to make some sort of comment about how Van den Ham was really struggling to keep hold of the ball there, but their right back was struggling even more to challenge him, and he puts in a very teasing ball for Hildebrand to finish off. Okay, Ralph Dorr is having a cracking game there, 8.3. I'm going to leave him out there, I think. More game time he gets in that position, the quicker he'll learn it. We'll get Vega off, and let's get Cristiano on. Oh, and there's a fifth goal, and I've done it again. I need to... Oh, Vega has scored a goal, so I'm going to leave him on. Right, let's cancel the changes and let's watch that goal, and then we'll go back. And I'll remember to pause this time. Vega. Carry hits it back out to Vega. Oh, and that's incredible. It was worth every penny of that 5.75 million. Right. Pause. There we go. I've done it. I've paused. Now we will still get Vega off. Actually, you could do with sitting a bit of this out. Serdar can play as a Mazzala, and we'll see how he gets on there. I want to get a look at Lugaliu. So let's get Hildebrand off. Is he going to get upset with me? Probably, but it's a game I need to have a look at this boy. Who is left-footed, so let's have him as an inverted winger. And that'll do for now. And we might make the last couple of changes in a few minutes, just to help us see out the game. Not that we need to do too much to see it out. This has been a very, very comfortable match. Gabriel Vega out for Hildebrand, in for Cho. That's the hat-trick, and Cho's coming off next. Hat-trick for Wahi in his first game, hat-trick for Cho in the second, and, well, this is a sort of start that you hope continues through. Alright, we're going to get Cho off, just so we don't get him injured. Solanke can come on for it's going to be a rare start for him. Or rare appearance, I should say. And Connor Bradley can come on for Boskurt. Okay, that's that done. And we should see this one out easily. Oh, and it is nearly 7. That one's rattled off the crossbar. Excellent. Okay, what I have remembered, and I'm glad I've just realised it before we get into more difficult games, is I've not set up my set pieces yet. Okay. So, comfortable 6-0 win. Let's go and set up these set pieces before we do anything else. So, load. Okay, that's them done. Okay, right, that's that done. Set piece takers, we'll take lots and lots of thought over that, as we always do. let's up penalty takers. So Wahi, Cho, Hildebrand, Solanke, Bockholt. There we go. Interesting. Mads Christensen, quite a good penalty taker. Okay. A little bit of money for that win. Let's give Hildebrand some praise. Lovely, lovely. Ashwin, that looks like... I mean, I don't know much about League of Legends, but it looks like you're struggling. And I'm sure that's just me not knowing what on earth I'm seeing there, but it definitely looked like you were having a rough time. Okay. Right, let's go and complete the job against Petrolol Ploiești, and then we've got our first league game in the Bundesliga. FC Augsburg. So, where are they when it comes to the season preview? So I find this quite useful, actually, especially when I don't know a league or I don't know teams. This will give me a rough idea of which team's stronger. Obviously, you get the scout report as well that will give you a bit of a clue, but just at a glance, this tells me where I should expect to see. So basically, the way I see it is that Munich and Dortmund are going to be very tough games for us. Leipzig, Wolfsburg, Leverkusen will probably be games that we should win. I reckon we should pick up more points than they do at least. And then everyone from Gladbach down, we ought to be looking to win home and away. Well, I mean, that's not set in stone by any stretch. I mean, Ezra van den Ham has excellent leadership skills. Let's let's not mess around there. Okay, well, we're gonna leave them as they are. Especially seeing as Van den Ham probably isn't going to play that many games, and FC Twente, they're taking the piss here. There's no way you're getting him for nothing. Yeah, okay, let's move on then. No, sorry, man. I've got no. I've not switched on the volume for your stream, only because I haven't. Well, it probably won't take me long, but I haven't worked out how to separate that from the desktop audio. So yeah, I'll work it out. I'll work it out. Your jungle sucked. I mean, yeah. I was having a look at it and I just saw how bad the kills were, for example. But yeah, it just looked like you guys were struggling big time. Oh, 110, ouch. So presumably, like if you've got friends who play, you can play in the same team together, can't you? So if you've got a group of friends who want to play it, you can actually come up with a proper coordinated strategy. Yeah, that would make sense. Duo only in ranked. Okay. And so is duos 2v2 or is it still... Yeah, it would be just 2v2. It's not like 5v5 and you've got two teams of two or whatever. That would be weird. Ignore that question. Alright, enjoy your next one, mate. Good luck. Okay, yeah, strong favourites, unsurprisingly. Who's Simon Richter? Yeah, another one with decent potential. Decent attributes already. Not quick, but... Okay, let's go and... You're not playing as a fringe player. No. You deserve more than being a fringe player. Californication. And Chrysostomy has got himself injured. At least it's not as big as the injury he got when he was with us at Rangers. And have we got FC Bayern early on in the season? We have. We've got Bayern Munich early. Okay, so we may not get to that one tonight, so we'll have to save that one for the next stream, which, by the way, will be Monday. There's no late night weekend stream this week, I'm afraid. Which is, I know it's a real shame, isn't it? But I'm going away to Warwick Castle with my family for the weekend. My son's birthday, so as it falls over half term most of the time, we do end up going away. Even if it's just for a couple of nights. So yeah, we are away this weekend, but back on Monday, when that first game is probably going to be Bayern Munich. Right, let's change this up because we want the first team back in for this one. Van den Ham is proving to be quite a useful player so far. I wasn't sure I was going to find a place for him in the team when I first joined, but I've liked what I've seen up until this point. Cristiano and Vega, my two boys in centre midfield. And I've come to some fairly quick decisions about who plays where so far. I've got a fairly settled first 11 in mind already. How much longer are we out for? 2 to 4 weeks. We won't even put you on the bench. Chrysostomy, you can. Let's go. Absolutely no further ado. Let's get into this one, get into the fourth qualifying round. I'm not entirely sure what Cho was attempting there, but he's just kind of passed it back to the centre-back. He crashes off the post. But good pressure up front there. And we recycle the ball out for Bradley. Cristiano. Burkholt, and that is goal number 1 on the night. We do make it look easy. Mostly because this match is quite easy. He's hit the bar again, and Burkholt gets his second of the game. Showing a striker's instinct there to get in as soon as the ball rebounded off the crossbar. But he's causing all sorts of problems. And this one should be a cakewalk. And that's going to be a penalty. And I bet Burkholt takes that one. I think we've allowed this. We have. Let's see him get his hat-trick. No! Oh dear. Well, that was nearly the third hat-trick in 3 games there. A hat-trick of hat-tricks. And I promise you, this song is completely random and is meant to be in no way a dig at Chelsea fans who probably had quite a rough night tonight. Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. We've conceded a goal. Perhaps a bit of complacency creeping in there. I mean, really, goalkeeper should be doing better from there. He's got himself caught in no man's land. He's not come to claim, and he's not defended his goal. He's just allowed it to be looped over him. So, in my head, he's taking the blame for that one. Burkhout now streaming clear and very nearly in with his third, but offside again. And anyone looking at this short name, no, this is not FC Porto. Wahi now, good ball across for Cho, and that's gone wide. Well, we've been comfortably in control of this game so far. Their one goal being a bit of a freak, and that's a third, is it? Yep, that's going to count. Yeah, bit of a freak goal for them. Goalkeeper just losing concentration, I suppose. But otherwise, pretty easy. All right, let's make a couple of changes. Let's get Schaefer some game time again. And Dor can come and play another game on the left because I think he deserves that time out there, and Disasi. So they can see out the last 25 minutes. All the time we've got a 6-1 lead. It's time to get second string on, get some minutes in, get the youngsters on, and get some minutes into their legs. So that's why Schaefer and Dor are coming on. No, we're not going to throw away a 6-1 lead. I wouldn't want to end up not winning this match, but I mean, just looking at those stats tells you I could bring on a couple more kids, and it's not very likely to happen that way at all. Schaefer now, Burkholt. That's a ball over the top for Schaefer, who very close there to scoring what I think would probably be his first senior goal. Let's make 2 more subs, shall we? And And Keeley can come off for Kari, who's one I want to get some game time into, although not a youngster in the same way that some of the others are. And Bradley can come off for Boskurt, because Boskurt is he's very young and needs as much game time as I can give him, really. But he's probably the weaker of my youth players in the first team squad. Some pause. So yeah, his game time's going to be limited. But when we're 6-1 up on aggregate, that's probably time to give him 10-15 minutes. Boskurt doesn't seem to be confident enough to put one in. He does finally, almost finding Schaefer, who doesn't quite leap high enough to do something with it. And now Petrolova breaking very quickly and with a lot of bodies forward. But it's a wasted shot that just flies over the bar. That's fine by me. You can have a few of those if you like. Gabri Vega hitting the post, and Burkholt absolutely balks at the chance to actually get his hat-trick. Oh, that's a shame. So we're not going to get the hat-trick of hat-tricks. Just 2 out of 3 games have had a hat-trick. What a shame. And we're already at the stage of the season where we're telling them not to get complacent. That's good to see. Okay. Well, I assumed we would be up against Slavia Prague. I can't say I know much about Ashdod at all. Decent reputation. I'd like to think we should be able to beat them. Shelbourne are through to the next round. Maybe Brøndby. Wow. Okay. Wouldn't have a problem with Shelbourne making it through to the group stages, if I'm honest with you. Especially if we get drawn against them. So it looks like we're going to go Augsburg, Ashdod, Bayern Munich, and then Ashdod again. So we will definitely get through the Augsburg game. And actually, looking at it, we might be able to get through the first Ashdod. So the plan is to finish at around 11 tonight. We could potentially creep on a little bit longer, but not by much. Maybe another half an hour. We'll see how we're vibing. And sadly, no Friday or Saturday night stream this week. There's no late night stream for us this week because I'm away for the weekend. Yeah, we'll give you a little bit of praise. Well done. Congratulations. I like to imagine actually that praising people for their training performance is literally me out on the training pitch saying well done to 3 players and then ignoring everybody else. Okay, no changes to the squad for the 4th round. I mean, we are pretty much done in the transfer market, I think. We've got about £10 million left to spend, which isn't going to do a great deal. Yeah, or 13 million. It's not going to do a great deal for us. So unless we sell, we're not likely to buy anyone. We're also out of spaces in our Europa Conference League squad. So it's kind of a 1 out, 1 in at this stage. And I would really like to bring in Ibarra, I think. He could do... Probably wouldn't be brilliant, actually, as a deep-lying playmaker. And we have brought in Nkili, so let's take him off. Yeah, come on, we'll take him off the shortlist. Alexandropoulos, even though that's one of Mr. Adaptable's recommendations, we're probably not going to look to bring him in. The only person who I'm giving half a mind to bringing in is Kevin Zeffy, because he is pretty cheap for the ability that he's got, but I do need to keep remembering I've got no space for him. Okay, so expectations, latter stages of the Conference League, so quarterfinals or better, qualify for at least the Europa League through the league, and the good news is season preview has us predicted to finish third, so got a little bit of wiggle room there. I would like to think we are, if not necessarily challenging for the title, we are going to comfortably qualify for the Champions League and the Pokal quarterfinals as well. Richter. Okay, regular starter, yes. As long as you're getting game time, you're welcome to go out there. Okay, automatic extensions if you get 15 games and you get 5 and we don't get relegated. Who are you? Interesting. Interesting that he can play as a centre-back, but is 5'8". I don't think that counts as a centre-back. Okay, and second round, Darmstadt. I think the team that just offered to loan Richter. Excellent. So if you're new to the stream, do feel free to drop me a follow, get notified when I go on live. It's normally Monday, Thursday, Saturday. There won't be a Saturday stream this week, but we will be back on Monday. And you can see how we're getting on with our Hertha Berlin save. We've gone a long way round to getting to Hertha Berlin. We started with Angered BK in Sweden. In the second division of Sweden, in fact. So we started unemployed. We had no coaching badges. We had Sunday League reputation, just nothing going for us. And we ended up in the second division of Sweden. Partway through the season, we saved them from relegation, and the next season we won the league. Up to Division 1, where we finished 9th before we took over at Osters in the same division, but with far better resources. Shaqiri. Okay, that's I think that's a decent offer for this lad. He's not going to progress to be as good as we need someone to be, so he's welcome to go. And I knew I shouldn't have been too confident about our transfer window being over. Right. Let's negotiate a fee. What do we think? 67? I reckon we can say 80. Okay. Shall we say 78? 74 sounds fandabidozy. So I can reject this one because they're not offering enough. Good. Yeah, so for Osters had an awful lot more resource, so we took over from there. We won Division 1 South, I believe it was, with Osters. Took us up into Superettan, which is the second tier in Sweden. We won that, first time of asking to get promoted into the Allsvenskan, which is the top tier. And the first time of asking, we finished third and qualified for the Europa League, or at least one of the qualifying rounds. Who's not registered? Ooh, I forgot we had to register players for the league. Let's do that now, shall we? Yeah, so we took on Osters. Yeah, Allsvenskan. So straight up and into third place in our first time of asking. From there, Dundee United snapped us up. And when we moved to Dundee, they were in danger of being relegated. Yeah, actually, we'll clear the squad. They were in danger of being relegated. They were 11th with 15 games left to go, and I think we're only a point or two off of the bottom. We massively turned around their season, got them up to 4th, and won the Scottish Cup so that they qualified for the Europa League. We left them in the middle of the next season, so we only really did 1 year. We didn't complete a full season at Dundee, and that's when we moved on to Rangers. So we finished off that first season with them, finishing 2nd, even though we picked them up in 4th place, so well underperforming when we joined them. Managed to get 2nd towards the end of the season, and again won the Scottish Cup. And then we had our first full season with Rangers, and we were battling quite closely with Celtic for the league title. And going into the last, I think we had 4 games left to go. We had a couple of points on Celtic. And then for the first time that season, we lost to Celtic. We'd been 4 out of 4. We played them 4 times. We've beaten them 4 times in League and Cup. And then the 5th time of asking, we lost to them. And we couldn't make up the points and ended up losing the league to them by, it was 1 point in the end for the 2nd season running. That's the bit that hurts. And then we faced Celtic in the Scottish Cup final and lost that as well. And at that point, I was fairly convinced that I was going to stay for another season because I felt there was some unfinished business, shall we say. We're going to put Solanke on the bench for this one. Yeah, I felt there was unfinished business. So I wasn't planning to apply for any jobs. And then out of nowhere, Hertha Berlin offered us an interview. And when they offered me a £65 million transfer budget and a £1.9 million wage budget, I think it was, compared to the $10 million that Rangers were offering me and the 900,000, or it might have been $1 million. But it was, about half of what Hertha Berlin were offering in terms of wages. I just could not turn it down. I dithered, I promise I dithered, and I considered, and then I decided the whole point of this save is for me to win as many trophies as possible and the biggest trophies available, and I genuinely thought I would have a better chance of doing that with Hertha. So here we are, and this is our first league game. FC Augsburg, our first opponents in the German league, and Wahi, he has scored 4 goals already, I think, this season. I was definitely expecting that to be number 5. Still, no matter. We are attacking again. That's a cross for Cho, and we've hit the bar. Good interception from Nkili. Cho through for Vieira, and Vieira tries something audacious, but that just hits the top of the net. Bradley with a great ball forward there, and that is surely a penalty. He's been stepped on almost, and what's going on with these two? This is I don't think you're allowed to do that on a football pitch, are you? Not in front of other people, at least. And why he's missed the penalty? Maybe Cho should be our first choice penalty taker after that. I'm going to be very disappointed if we don't manage to get ourselves a win in this game. We've certainly started the better of the two teams, and we're going to go attacking at the end of this first half and into the start of the second. But we've definitely been the better of the two sides so far in this match, and we need to assert our dominance properly. So we're going to go attacking for at least part of this second half. Mr. Wing, hi, how are you doing? And that was an interesting challenge we've just put in there. How's your night going, Mr. Wing? Yeah, really well, thank you, really well. Easy game so far. This is probably the toughest we've had, and even this should be quite a comfortable win for us. We're just making it look hard. Come on, Burkholt. There we go, that's the one. And the blonde haired, dark facial stubble combo is just incredible. It gives me Die Hard feels. It's morning here, so where are you from? So the save is an unemployed start. So we've, I'm just going to bring up exclamation marks, save, so you can read it through at your own leisure. But ultimately, we started no coaching badges, no experience whatsoever. We've gone from Sweden, all through the leagues in Sweden, to Scotland, where we did the Premiership but didn't manage to win it, and then got tempted to Germany with the offer of lots of money. Rangers were giving me a £10 million transfer budget. Hertha offered me £65 million. It was a no-brainer. Oh, so you're from Australia. Oh, well, good morning. Let's make a few changes. We've got some tired legs out there. Right, you can be my makeshift left back once again. Can you play? Yeah, let's play as a central midfielder on support. And I've missed a goal for Augsburg. Oh my goodness, Adam. Got to pay more attention. Got to learn to pause it. So, cross, header, goalkeeper's caught in no man's land. That's the second time we've seen him do that. He's not coming to claim the cross, and neither is he on the line to stop the shot. Okay, and Van Dam's not having the greatest of times, so we'll bring on Boskurt and we'll do something like that. So that lack of depth at fullback is a little bit worrying. Oh my goodness, and how's Kari missed that? I was almost celebrating. Well, that is not a good start. You need to save idea because played 2 seasons of Villarreal save and won the league first year and treble next. Wow, well, that's pretty impressive. Have you considered starting lower league? I mean, they do tend to be longer saves, and some of them can get quite frustrating. But for longevity, start somewhere at the bottom. To be fair, that is my favourite kind of save. I quite often don't end up at a top tier club until 6, 7, 8, 10 years into the save, because I like all of the wheeling and dealing you do down in the lower leagues. Lots of free transfers, and your squad's different season to season. But if you don't want to start that low down, sometimes a kind of fallen giant save could be quite a fun one. So if you're thinking England, perhaps the likes of Portsmouth, who are sort of languishing in League One at the moment, and yet were very much Premier League quality for some time before things fell apart for them. QPR would be a good one. It would have been even better if Reading might be another one. Premier League within the last sort of decade or so, and yet now into League One as well. Similar kits. Do you have anyone that you play with? I mean, I love an online save. I've not had one this year because my friend didn't buy this version of Football Manager. But one of my favourite saves was one that we did as Arsenal and Tottenham. The rivalry was very real, especially seeing as he's an Arsenal fan, and I picked Spurs just to annoy him. That was only reason. I think it was back on FM16, and we probably did 7 years. We stopped it surprisingly after I won the league. He did it first, to be fair, but yeah, I don't think he could stand watching Spurs win the league at all. Okay, once again, I don't think we can make any changes. Yeah, online's great. If you've got a friend who you can schedule it fairly frequently with, you can get some real rivalries going. Though we once did Real Madrid and Barcelona and did not find that fun at all. I think it was the lack of competitiveness in La Liga that just took any fun out of it, really. How is Akerley doing? Still a few weeks away. So we have got Bayern Munich just on the horizon there, so we probably should think about rotating a little bit here. So we're going to get Chrysostomou back in, and Akani can come out for Disasi. I'm going to get Cristiano out for Serdar. Kari can play the defensive playmaker role. And let's start. Let's get Hildebrandt on. And that'll do, because I don't really want to put a youngster on up front at the moment. Just one game, and yeah, losing the Super Cups PSG 3-0. So yeah, it doesn't really. It's hard to get an idea of where you stack up against other teams, doesn't it? When you're playing in such an uncompetitive league. Well, it's still doing it with Villarreal is pretty impressive, especially in the first season. There is no league table yet. Well, as long as he's on side, that's the perfect start, and yeah, kind of confirms my suspicions that Ashdod are not a particularly difficult club to beat. Forward for Cho now, and it's an attempt. Not the best of attempts, but it is an attempt. Have you got a favourite country that you manage in? I always quite like the Scandinavian leagues because there's next to no money in it, but if you can get a team regularly into the Champions League, you can for the level you can build something of a wonder team. Yeah, I like that strategy. I've said it before on stream a few times that no player, well, okay, there might be one or two players who are irreplaceable, but for the most part, if you've got someone who wants to leave, sell them, get as much as you can for them, and reinvest that money in players who you can probably get for cheaper, who will end up being better. Oh, and Gabri Vega's just scored an absolute screamer. I mean, his first one was probably better because it was somewhere out here that he scored it from. But that's beautiful placement. His star rating's not amazing, but when he does things like that, I do wonder if Cho was offside there. Hard to make the argument that he wasn't interfering with play at all, seeing as he was right in front of Vega. Oh, and that's nearly 4. Well, I don't think we're going to have too much trouble here. Yeah. This is my first time managing in Germany for quite some time. I think it was probably FM 18, possibly 19, where I ended up at Dortmund after a few years. So yeah, it's my first time being back here, and I quite like the fact that I've got a team that is predicted. We're predicted third. I've got some money, but it might take me a couple of years to break that Bayern Dortmund stranglehold. And I say Bayern Dortmund, it's Bayern. They've won the league for the last 19 years in this save, so it's all about getting ahead of Bayern Munich, and I like that sort of challenge. Evening, welcome back, Jamie. How you doing? Oh, and Cho's just dinked that in, but from an offside position. Yeah, Mains would be a good one. I think. Yeah, I think you've got quite a lot of teams, haven't you, who could. They're kind of mid-table, fairly well established, but could potentially take that next step up. Because it's so even, after you get past Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Hertha, and Leipzig, big stretch of teams where it's pretty much all even. So in some ways that makes it harder because you've not got one standout team there. Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Jamie. It's yeah, getting fairly close to the end of the stream, although I think I might go on for a little bit longer. Our next game will be against Bayern Munich, and it'd be nice to see how we stack up. Season previews got us as third. I think it was 13-1 the odds, and Bayern Munich are odds on to win. So probably a fair gap between the teams, but this will tell us a lot, that first game. Yeah, Germany I think is a good choice. So I do like the Scandinavian leagues because it's quite relatively easy to take a team from the lower leagues and turn them into an absolutely dominant team because the gap's so small because there's not a huge amount of money. So yeah, if you're shrewd with your signings, you can turn a second division Swedish team into into league champions. Yeah, yeah. The yeah, 2 Bundesliga teams are fairly good when they come up. Shown out. I mean, I think I'm going to get Serdar off. Probably looked at him being injured for far too long. Let's get him off. We'll get Cristiano on. Not that one. This is Salvatore. So this FM, I've done an aborted attempt at Stranraer FC. So Stranraer was going to be my online save with my friend. We were going to do Stranraer and Annan, who were the two Scottish teams closest to where we live. And yeah, well, I did a few seasons on a solo one just to suss out the team, and then decided I didn't fancy it anymore. And the other one that I've still got going actually on the side is a Gillingham save, because I am a Gillingham fan, so you've got to do your own team at some point. Although I will caveat it with it was just after we got taken over, so I thought wouldn't it be fun to give Gillingham some money? So I gave us £50 million. That's all I changed. I gave us £50 million in the bank balance and upped the transfer budget a little bit, and found it incredibly easy to get us into the Premier League. Won League Two, we won League One, we finished second in the Championship, and then I think 10th in our first season in the Premier League. And that was all just by giving me £50 million at the start. So made it a little bit too easy. Okay, Hildebrandt is... Yeah, let's not risk getting anyone sent off. Burkholt can come on. Let's give Dorr some time out there, and let's keep working on Boskurt, shall we? Who else needs... Schaefer. Let's get Schaefer on. No, Cho is nearly on a hat-trick. I'd like to see him get another one. We'll hold on to that in case Cho does get his hat-trick. Wish you could do an Australian save. Yeah, so I've not played A-League actually, and to be honest with you, I've not played outside of Europe in quite a few FMs. I used to enjoy doing some Brazilian saves. I loved where they had you. Half the season was national leagues, half the season was regional. Always found that quirky and interesting. Let's get Carney. Can you play left back? Well, not really, but you'll do. Yeah, what A-League is kind of modelled after MLS, isn't it? Or have I got that wrong? I don't think there's not a proper pyramid structure like you find in most European leagues. Are you a Liverpool fan? Yeah, that is easy. I get bored with those sorts of saves quite easily. Like I wouldn't take over, say Man City or even sort of Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea. You'll win the league in the first season, or at very latest your second, and then before you know it, you're winning the Champions League, and it's well, where do you go from there? You can maybe try and build a dynasty, challenge yourself to win, I don't know, Champions League 3 years in a row or something like that, but I don't know how interesting that is. Ashwin, I'm really sorry I missed your message here. Welcome back. How did you get on your last one? Please tell me you won one. Just do an online save with chat. I mean, that's definitely an interesting idea. I think before I go doing something like that, I might have to look and see if anyone else is doing it and how they do it. I'm very much a newbie streamer. This is my first stream as an affiliate, actually. So yeah, I'd have to learn from others on that. Ew, no. Leave my Arsenal alone. I wasn't criticising Arsenal, just saying it's easy. I should do stand-up. No. Right, Leipzig, if you want him, there's the line. Okay. Oh, we're going to have to replace Wahi. That's not good. Right, let's get out and have a look and see who's around. So, he is very much my first choice left winger, my inside forward out on that left side. So it might be worth playing them in the beta, just to get a handle for the game. But I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's just what's the interest? This is why I tend to start either unemployed or I'm down in National League South, National League North, that sort of place. Team are a bunch of pigeons. Amazing. Right, so we have options such as Jason Naughty, and bearing in mind we're going to get 65 million in, we do have some decent money to spend here. He is a winger, so possibly not what I want exactly. And we've got Simon Hardy, who, please tell me you've been at Stuttgart this whole time. No, okay. But inverted winger, excellent dribbling, pace. Bravery's lacking concentration. I don't think it matters too much for an inverted winger. Passing's incredible, technique great. Slight lack of teamwork. There's nothing here that scares me either. You might be the one. It's definitely affordable. Okay. Did I get Vega? Yes, and he scored 2 wonder goals so far. He has scored 2 absolute wonder goals for me, both outside the box. My assistant manager doesn't rate him. He's dropped his rating to 2.5 stars, but I'm going to keep playing him because he's doing great. And got him on the cheap compared to you, didn't I? Okay, let's also have a look at what else is out there. I mean, that's a lot of money for a 17-year-old. But we've got to take a look. Again, a lot of money being asked for a 21-year-old. Rodolfo Chavez, I think he's the one we tried to get at Rangers. Right, let's scout you all. You're all kind of in that price range that I'm looking at. Sessegnon, I'm not interested. You're too old to come and join me, I'm afraid. Let's have a look at Arribas. Brad Walker. Ulrich. And let's see what the scouts say. But it does look like we are going to lose Wahi because everyone's... I mean, I can't say no. Ah, hey ho. We just have to... Well, I have to move on with it. I'm disappointed because he's had a great start to the season for us so far. He has 4 goals in 4 games. And he has scored goals fairly consistently for Hertha. I mean, 15's not bad. But I'm going to try and look at this as a chance to upgrade. I don't think that I'm going to find anyone who's better than that first lad I was looking at. This Simon Hardy, just, well, I like what I see. Zvonarek was another one we saw earlier, but while all-round attributes are higher, he doesn't quite have some of these sexy 19s that Hardy has. Scouts give them both the same rating. They're both A's. They've both got 4 stars of ability, 4 stars of potential. They are fairly similar. Let's have a look at them side by side. So Hardy wins on physicals, speed, vision, technique, which is not surprising. Zvonarek wins on mental, defending, and on attacking. Attributes wise, technically not a huge amount between them. Zvonarek's better at penalties, tackling, and marking. I want this person to be very much someone going forward, though we play on an attack mentality. Zvonarek does win on the mentals. Bravery, concentration, composure, position, teamwork, vision, work rate. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. Hardy edges him on physicals, a bit quicker, more stamina. But actually, it's the dribbling I'm interested in there. Come on in chat, who are we picking? Zvonarek or Hardy? think on the important attributes, I'm still leaning towards Hardy. Anticipation, I think there's not much between them. Can I get both? No. No, I suppose I could if I structure a deal. If I structure a deal that ends up with, maybe 30 million, 35 million outlay up front for both, possibly. I think that's quite likely for Zvonarek. For Hardy, might be a little bit tougher because of his value. Inside forward, I think that's what I prefer to have. I've got apparently currently got Wahi as my inside forward, and he is just he's been a beast. He's exactly what I want. So I'm looking for a replacement for him. Looking at this kind of this holy trinity of dribbling, finishing, first touch, they're both fairly similar, but Hardy has far better dribbling. He's a bit faster as well. I think he's the right man. So, they're both natural out on that left wing, both 4-star inverted wingers, 3.5-star inside forwards. But I think we can improve either of them as an inside forward. It's quite a tricky one, this. One of them is the answer. I don't know who, but one of them is the answer. How far have we got? Okay. Should we try that? Should we try 230 million upfront offers and see who bites? And if we get both, we get both. But if we don't, hopefully we get at least one. Right, let's structure a deal. We'll do 30 million upfront. I reckon. I hope I can get you for close to 45, 50 up front. Let's try a 45. We'll give you a little sweetener there. How's that feel? Right. Zvonarek, I probably could have gone cheaper. Yeah, Ashwin. Ashwin. I don't think they call that structuring deals. I think they call that robbery. And anyone who doesn't know this story, this is the man who managed to buy Declan Rice off of West Ham for £100 million, even though he had £30 million in his budget. And after the purchase went through, he still had £30 million in his budget. Highly, highly questionable. Now, I reckon that Stuttgart are going to try and push me for a lot more here. It's not that bad. They want Serdar in return. I don't hate the idea. Right, if we can drop that down a little bit. Oh, we might be onto something. Mr. Wing, there was absolutely a glitch in the game when he bought Declan Rice. Zvonarek doesn't want to come because he's just started, just signed a contract. So Hardy's our man. I'm not promising you a position or a role, but I will happily give you important player status. We don't do... Okay, let's reset. We don't do sell-on fees. Just don't do it. Perfect. Let's get him in. Oh dear me. I used to do a trick of offering £1 If I was, particularly if you're in a bigger club, offer £1. Still upset the player when he rejected it. But you knew you could get him cut price because he had to sell him after a while. He just upset the dressing room too much. Although I think we did try that in last year's save. Actually trying to sell someone cut price just to help us both out. I'm pretty sure the game stops it from happening. There's a small chance that I've completely made that up in my head, but I'm fairly certain that at one point he was a division or two above me, and I tried to get a player off him that he wanted rid of and I really wanted, but his board blocked it because he was selling him too cheaply. I'm afraid Lugardiu is still playing a part in our first team, so we can't loan him out. Right, shall we go and do Bayern Munich? And then at that point, I think we call it a night. So this game will tell us just how far away we are from Bayern Munich in terms of quality. And the season preview tells us we are that far away, and actually we're getting closer to Dortmund all the time. So, but Bayern Munich are huge odds-on favourites. Oh, you back on your Arsenal save? Yeah, you're giving up on League of Legends for a bit. When it comes to the so in the Champions League, in the league phase, not in the old group stages, but in the league phase, is there seeding to which fixtures you draw? So if I'm playing as I don't know, Real Madrid, am I going to get the easier fixtures in the league stage, or is it completely random? So obviously the group stage it was seeded, so you had generally two bigger teams, a third team that could on their day perhaps do something, and then a team that wasn't even going to make it to the Europa League after the group stages. But I don't know if that changes in the in the league phase. It's always 3 or 4 big clubs and then 4 middle clubs. Okay, so it's fairly evenly split then, I suppose. All right. This is the biggest game of the season for us so far. We are going to play Wahi for what may end up being his last game for us, which will be it will be quite sad. Slanky will be our backup striker for this one. Here we go. Isn't it? You play 2 teams from pot 1, 2 from pot 2, 2 from pot 3. I mean, that would make sense. Yeah, that's the kind of seeding I'm thinking about. But I don't think they. I mean, I've not seen it. I don't think. But I don't think I've seen the mechanic. I don't think I've seen the draw. So it's just here are the 8 teams that you're playing. Ashwin, what's going on in the Discord? Oh, dearie me. West Ham 6, Man United 2. I mean, that's quite... That's quite a result. Right, here we go. No, there's no draw, is there? It's just here's your 8 teams. There's got to be a mechanic behind it. There's probably some sort of seeding, but we just never see it. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself. I've got to make the Champions League first. Oh yeah, it's nothing like you beating Man City 7-1 earlier. That was special, and that's not what we were hoping for first up. Right, okay, we've had a wobble at the start of this game. Go on, Cristiano. No. They're very quick going forward. Very good pressing. Yeah, they were at home, weren't they, for your absolute trouncing. Upamecano must be ancient by now. Osimhen, oh, we are getting quite easily torn apart here so far. How old is he? 31, okay. Nowhere near as old as I was thinking. And we are... Oh, we're struggling in this one. Right. Where's it all going wrong for us? And it's Thuram again. Well. Upamecano. Let's have a look. A lot of the time, I just leave those opposition instructions to my assistant. Never, no, always. There we go. Let's see if that makes a difference. Right. Well, we've dominated the ball, but possession doesn't win you a damned thing unless you can do something with it, and we've not shown pause. Yeah, I know. Oh, one day I will learn to pause again. Right. We're going to berate them. Being 2-0 down to Bayern isn't that shameful, but the fact we've had all of that ball and not had a shot tells me we need to improve, and quickly. Let's see if Vega can be the man breaking forward. No. What a terrible signing he was. Before you press continue, I'm going to help you. Okay. And Thuram has absolutely murdered us there. Well, I think we've got work to do. Yeah, Thuram might be a bit too good. He has, yeah, he's absolutely destroyed us. It wasn't even close. Okay, their left back is... They've got Alphonso Davies on the left and Marius Rodier on the right, who is a new gen, and looks incredible. Wow. Wonder if I can stretch my budget to buy him. Overlap right and focus play on the right. Okay. Trigger press on Thuram. Okay. Show him onto weaker foot. And let's continue underlapping on the left because I do like how that works. Okay. We'll see how that works. No, not underlap on the left, just focus on the right. Okay. Up the tempo. Okay, interesting. We have at least had a shot. And we're going to go attacking. We want goals. Let's get after them. Run at defence. Okay. I'm trusting you on this. You were, you seem very confident. So I'm going for it. And you're Georgie, have you just got yourself sent off? Yep. Ah, no. Well, that's a spanner in the works. Right, Hildebrand can come off, and we're going to stick Disassi there. And we'll go with some sort of god awful. Actually, none of you have been playing well, so we're going to do this. We'll just go for a 4-4-1. No, let's do that. Oh, Nuggets. Okay, so we're probably a little bit further away from Bayern than I was hoping. But on the positive side, it gives us something to work on. It'd be boring if it was easy. We'll encourage them just to try and stop them from letting their heads drop too much. A result like this early on in the season can be devastating. That's a good save. We're going to have to get Chrysostomou off because not only is he tired, but I'm worried about him getting sent off now. While he just isn't at the races at all today, so we're going to get Door on. Yeah, I mean, we've had a shot. We seem slightly less vulnerable, Red card has not helped at all, though, and it makes it hard to properly compare it. They've taken off Alphonse Davis for Luca Net. Interesting. I wonder if that's in response to us pressing or focusing down that side. What have you ended up with in your draw then? Oh, and Angelo scored. Thank goodness for that. Right, let's make another couple of changes to save some legs. Keeley, let's get Herrera on for his first appearance of the season. Well, actually, you don't like playing these roles, do you? Let's do that. And Connor Bradley. No, that's my last sub. That's all 5. So that'll do. Ooh, PSG. Lovely start. Well, 3-0, not a lot of fun. Definitely improved in the second leg, as you said. So, talk me through why. I get the idea of focusing down the right. Talk me through the tempo change. So generally, I keep a fairly low tempo, partly because it's what the vertical tiki-taka calls for, but also I think it helps with possession, keeping possession, and making yourselves just a little bit less easy to beat. Was that just a change to try and put Bayern on the back foot just a little bit? The pressing to you low tempo. Okay, that makes sense. So I guess, yeah, if players are looking to stop on the ball, the pressing makes them vulnerable. Okay, that makes sense. Right, well, that's it's a disappointing way to end the stream, but we are going to end it there, and at least we know we've got plenty to improve on and plenty to look forward to as we try to make amends for that. We've not managed to win a league game yet, so we are a wee bit lower than we'd like to be at this stage, but still tons and tons and tons of time for us to get back up there. Thanks for joining us, Jamie. We're going to go and raid. Well, should we come and raid you, Ashwin, so everyone can see how you're getting on with Arsenal, and hopefully they'll all be able to see how you get on against PSG. So yeah, for everyone who's joined us tonight, Owen, thank you very much for the follow. Ashwin, again, man, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. That's just absolutely incredible. And for anyone who has. Anyone who's sat through the ads just to come back, I really, really do appreciate that. All of that adds up to pennies towards a new microphone for me. And yeah, hopefully forever improving the content. So thanks very much, everyone. We're going to go off and raid PMD Adaptable. West Ham beat Man United again. I love it. Right, let's set up this raid, shall we? Where are you, my man? There you go. Okay, and we are ready to raid. So, good night, everyone. Join us again on Monday as we continue our adventures in Germany, and enjoy your weekend.